Hello, comic book community. This is 360 Comics. My name is Joe, and today I'm bringing you one of my favorite topics to talk about, and that's dollar bin digging. Before I show you what I got in my dollar bin haul from this past weekend, I just want to remind you we're doing a 6,000 follower giveaway over on Instagram for these two Warlock keys right here. We've got Warlock number 12, The Origin Story of Pip the Troll, and Warlock and the Infinity Watch number 2, the first appearance of the Infinity Watch. Both keys that have some potential in the MCU. Definitely enter that giveaway over on Instagram, and stay tuned here. I'm going to be announcing our 1,500 subscriber giveaway on YouTube very soon. If you've followed this channel for any amount of time, you probably already know I love dollar bin digging. Such a great way to get books for cheap, and whether you're looking for the low value book with some potential, the speculation books, great covers that are undervalued, filler issues for runs that you're collecting, or the occasional gem, the trash among the treasure. There's something for everyone. You just got to dig through. I always recommend people take the time when you see dollar bins, especially because I've noticed them disappearing over the last couple years. Even just a few years ago, pretty much every store had dollar bins. Now a lot of those stores have marked the price up to $2 a book or $3 a book. Part of that has to do with inflation, and part of that has to do with the popularity of comic books rising, especially because keys have been popping up. Books that were worth nothing for the longest time are suddenly $5, $10, $15, $20 books due to things that are coming out in the movies and on television right now. Definitely take advantage of those dollar bins whenever you can find them. Particularly, the store that I went to has an exceptional dollar bin policy where you can actually fill a short box for $40. Now, you get about 120 books. It ends up being less than 50 cents per book after that. So really, you're getting these books that are already marked at $1 at half price. I go in there pretty often and fill stuff up, both for my personal collection and for claim sales, stuff to sell or hold on to for a little bit and see if it ever pops. Let's get into those books now. We're going to start with the Marvel stuff. Kicking it off, we've got a book with some serious MCU potential, Mockingbird number 1. Now, we just had the revelation that Laura Barton, the wife of Hawkeye, is the MCU's version of Mockingbird. For those of you who don't know, in the comics, Mockingbird and Hawkeye actually have an on-again, off-again relationship that spanned a few decades, and it seems like they are bringing that to the MCU. I was very surprised to see that this is actually the first Mockingbird solo title. She had a team-up title with Hawkeye in the 80s, or maybe that was early 90s, but this was her first solo title, and for that reason, people are going after this book now. My thought is that there are so many of these in dollar bins out there. Definitely be on the lookout for this one. You can pick it up, and I checked eBay listings. They're going for between $5 and $10 right now, and that's sold listings. That's not just posted listings. So definitely something to look out for in dollar bins, because this, like I said before, this was one of those books that was worthless until recent MCU news. Anyway, on to the next book. We've got Infinity number 1. This is the first book of a 6-issue miniseries, and it features Thanos on the cover. I think this came out kind of around 2013. Prior to Thanos really coming fully to the MCU. So this was probably kind of a way to hype up readers about the character. Just a little miniseries, and honestly, this cover artwork is phenomenal. This next book, I have a couple copies of, and I'm just kind of sitting on them because you never know what random characters could possibly come to the MCU. This is Gravity number 1, the first appearance of Gravity, and I believe this was a pretty low print run, limited series of this character, kind of similar to like the Blue Marvel character, how he had a very low print run, limited series, and that's why those books are very expensive. This one has not caught on in hype, but it's a book that I'm holding on to, like I said, a couple copies of, just in case something ever happens. Realistically, I don't think it will, but you never know. Picking it up for 33 cents, definitely worth it. Next, we got a book I found in dollar bins a bunch, X-Force number 8. This is the first appearance of Domino. The second appearance of Domino in issue 11 is actually a more expensive book because she's really prominently featured on the cover with Deadpool, and it's a great cover in general. So this book kind of falls behind, but it's still worth between $5 and $10 depending on the grade. Next, we got a couple minor X-Men keys. First appearance of Cinch in X-Men 36 from Volume 2 from the 90s, and issue 50, first appearance of Post, the Herald of Onslaught. Not super big keys or anything like that, but once again, we don't know who is coming to the MCU. It could be anyone, depending on what storylines they go with, and a lot of times they're combining two characters together, so they might pick a more major character and a minor character to put together into something a little bit creative for the MCU. You never know. This book was kind of hot recently. We got Tech World number 1. There was some speculation that possibly this would be made into a series or something like that. It's a William Shatner. Well, it's based off of novels, the tech novels by William Shatner, and I guess it has some potential. It's got a big name attached to it, so you never really know. It's a nice newsstand copy, too, from the 90s when newsstands were a lot more rare. Hey, guys, this is my one of my giveaway books. I found that in there. Only 33 cents. We got Warlock and the Infinity Watch number 2, the first team appearance of the Infinity Watch. They're on the cover. Great stuff. We know Warlock is coming to the MCU, so we got to kind of see what storylines and what related characters might spawn off from his appearance. It's going to take a while, though. They just started filming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so it's going to be a while. But, if you ever see these for cheap, I think it's worth grabbing. Next up is a book that it's just from a popular run, a run that was kind of has a low print run. It's only, I think, 40-something issues, 47 or something like that. We got Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur number 9. This is not a key, but nonetheless, people are really digging Moon Girl. They're certainly utilizing her more. They put her in the storyline for the Web of Spider-Man series that's coming out, or that has been coming out the last year. And last I heard, they were working on an animated series. I'm not sure if that's still in the works or what's going on with that, but I guess keep an eye out. Either way, cool character, lower print run, like I said, and a character they definitely are utilizing here and there. There's a little bit of speculation on this character too, being that there are not a lot of Native American characters to choose from. We got Red Wolf. I believe this is Volume 2, number 1. Honestly, I picked this up because I love this cover art. Super awesome looking. And, it's got some minor spec potential just in case this character ever does show up. I don't think this book is going to be popping like to even $10 or anything like that. But, man, that cover looks so cool. Next, another MCU connected book. We've got Defenders number 1. Now, take a look at this Defenders team. What do you notice? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's the Netflix Defenders team. This was the first appearance of this team altogether in their own series, based on the Defenders Netflix television show, which put together Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Iron Fist. Will they come to the MCU? Well, we've seen Matt Murdock in a movie already, with Charlie Cox reprising his role. So it's definitely possible that we see others. I kind of hope we do, at least Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. I don't think anyone's really excited for Iron Fist, but we'll get to that with this next book. We got Swordmaster #1. I had this in the beginning because this is one of the books that I am the most stoked about finding. This was a dollar bin book for a long time, and since it popped in the last month or two, I haven't been able to find any in dollar bins. So I was glad to still find one. For those of you who don't know, Swordmaster, I believe what's happening is Swordmaster is becoming Iron Fist in the comic books. And for that reason, people are kind of speculating that maybe he's going to be a new Iron Fist for the MCU. Obviously, Iron Fist was a pretty big flop as far as the Netflix series go, and no one is really excited to see that again. So maybe they'll just replace him with this new Swordmaster Iron Fist. Iron Fist. One thing to note, I got this mixed up for the longest time between Swordmaster and Swordsman, who is an Avengers character, and we saw him in the Hawkeye limited series as well. Don't mix those two up. I get them mixed up all the time. I say Swordsman for one and Swordsmaster. It's big mess. This next group of books, though, I've been getting a lot of requests recently for Star Wars, so I made sure to pick up some Star Wars stuff. We got a bunch of #1s from the solo Star Wars runs. They have the main run, but then each character, most of the characters at least, have their own book or have had their own book at some point. We got Princess Leia #1 here. Of course, to go along with it, we've got Han Solo #1, and you can't have Han without his main man, first mate, Chewbacca, #1, awesome cover as well. And you need some of that comic relief. We've got the droid, C-3PO, another great cover. Of course, everyone's favorite scoundrel, Lando Calrissian in Lando #1. And then a newer character that I really like, Poe Dameron #1. Oscar Isaac, he kills it. Such a good actor. And we're getting him in Moon Knight soon as well. And last but not least, not a #1, but we got Rogue One #3. This is the first appearance of Krennic, who's on the front. Same actor that plays Talos as well. So another, Disney crossover character, just like Oscar Isaac, between Star Wars and Marvel. So that's it for the Marvel stuff. Let's move on to DC next. I don't think I've spoken to a single person who really dislikes the Peacemaker show on HBO Max right now, and that is a lot to say about a DC property. I think people are unifying around that one as being the best thing out so far, and I hope DC continues to make some good content like that, because it's been a while for them. Right here we got Peacemaker #4 from the limited series on which the television show is loosely based. I just picked this up, given the character has some popularity right now. It's not really a key within the series, but it's a limited series, so people do end up trying to collect those as a whole rather than just pick up the keys in there. I think it's only like 6 issues, maybe. I forget exactly. Up next, we got Batman Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween Special #1. Now, I noticed this is the free comic book day version, which it also looks way newer. It's got the newer DC logo. This obviously is not one that came out in the 90s alongside the original printing of this book. So this was, I guess, a 2000s reprint. It might not be even the same inside. I'm not sure. I haven't opened it up yet. It definitely has the same cover as the 90s version of the Halloween special. But that cover is awesome. I love it. This one probably will stay in the personal collection unless I already have one. I might have one from 93 or whatever. Got to check on that. Next we got Tales of the Green Lantern Corps #2, and this is the first appearance of somebody. Can't remember. Character name that I didn't really recognize. Not super big on Green Lantern stuff, but I figured it's an older Bronze Age book of a popular character. So why not pick it up for 33 cents and see if anyone else wants it. Next, we got some Robin stuff, and I'm a big Robin guy. So I picked up some books that I had missed out on while I was on hiatus from comic book collecting. We got We Are Robin #1, and from probably around the same time, Robin, Son of Batman #1, which of course features Damian Wayne, definitely one of my favorite, if not my favorite Robin. Great character, and I'm definitely gonna dive into this one and read this one and find some other books from the series as well. Next, we got Superman Red, Superman Blue #1, and probably looks kind of crazy. That's because it is a 3D cover, and it has the 3D glasses. Oh, you can't see it because there's a backing board, but it is polybagged with 3D glasses in it, so you can actually see it in 3D rather than, not. If you ever look for a 3D comic and you find one and you think about buying it, make sure it comes with the 3D glasses. Otherwise, one, it's incomplete, and two, it's just going to give you a headache. Next was Superman Man of Steel #1, the first book of this run. I think there were 2 copies of it, and this is just a pretty cool cover that people often like to pick up. I've certainly sold a bunch of these to DC fans over the last couple claim sales that I've done and at conventions. It's just a good book to have, really affordable, #1 from Superman. And we got Justice League Europe #1. I really know nothing about this, but hey, it's a #1 from the 80s. I threw it in the pile. Got to fill up a whole short box, so you need to grab some books like this. Then we got Justice League Europe 33, and I mentioned this book before because it has an insert in the middle of the comic for Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's actually a whole Sonic the Hedgehog story comic within this comic, and it's a very, very early Sonic the Hedgehog appearance. He has a rare first appearance in not even distributed by like a major publisher or anything. This was his first appearance in a major publication though, so it's a little bit harder to find, especially a lot of people ripped them out of the middle and either sold them as or tried to pass them off as like the actual the rare book. But yeah, make sure that that's in there if you're gonna pick up this book. And then we got Omega Men #1, the run that gave us Lobo in issue 3. Just a nice start off to that. Couple copies of this one. I actually think I found 2 of them. Superman Man of Steel 19. This is the second appearance of Doomsday. Really awesome cover in my opinion. And this book did go through multiple printings, including a DC Universe variant and a newsstand. So look out for those rarer ones. Then we got a pretty nice one right here. Batman 489. This is the second appearance of Bane, and I think this is a book that gets overlooked a lot. People kind of don't know what it is, but, that first appearance of Bane, pretty expensive book. It's Vengeance of Bane #1, a nice thick book as well. And, this is a great opportunity to pick up a second appearance of Bane for really, really cheap. This book is only normally I think between $8 and $12, I'd say. But yeah, obviously I'm picking that up at a dollar bin any day. Last up for the DC books, before we move on to some indie stuff, we got Superman #75, the Platinum Edition. This is a lot more rare than the regular version that you'll see. And not only that, it has all the stuff with it that it originally came polybagged with. There's this weird cloth thing with the Superman S on it, some pictures, a trading card, and this right here is a pin that R.I.P. Superman. And this actually, the whole back of this, you can't see it because it's folded up, but it's kind of a fake newspaper page that is a Superman obituary. So I'm gonna kind of see what this is worth. I don't think it's a whole lot because it's not super high grade. High grade versions of this go for a couple $100 graded. This one's not super high grade. It's certainly been read and has some nicks on the cover and stuff like that, but at least it's complete with all the stuff. Let's move on to those indie books now. Coming back at you with some more Star Wars here, this time from the Dark Horse run from the 90s. We got Tales of the Jedi #3. Now, I probably would have glossed over this book a month ago, but recently there was some news that some promotional item was given out by Disney pertaining to Star Wars, and it had Mandalorian written on it and Book of Boba Fett written on it, and it also said Tales of the Jedi on it, which people are assuming now that there's going to be a series or a movie called Tales of the Jedi. Will it follow this storyline? Who knows? Probably not. I mean, it's a name that could mean anything. It really doesn't necessarily tie to the characters or anything like that, but you never know. I figured might as well pick it up if I'm getting it for 33 cents. And yeah, it's a cool looking Star Wars book at that. Next up, my favorite indie book ever, my favorite horror book ever, my favorite modern book ever, just one of my favorites ever, Witches by Scott Snyder and Jock. This is book number 3. Anytime I find this book or any book in this 6-issue volume 1 run, anytime I can get them for really less than $5, I pick them up. Issue number 1, obviously I'll pay a little bit more for, but even 2 through 6, as long as I get them for under $5 and they're in decent shape, I will pick them up. I have a ton of them. There's some news that we might be getting volume 2 finally this year. After 8 years since the release of volume 1, we might get it, and there's been some talk about optioning it becoming a series. So who knows if that's actually going to happen. I certainly hope it does because, like I said, it is my favorite. But if not, hoping volume 2 does eventually make its way out. Also from Image Comics, we got Darker Image number 1, and it's got the, Death Blow? Yeah, Death Blow card in there. This is actually the first appearance, although I kind of see it more as a preview of the Max. He's right on the front right there. Cool 90s character that people are into. I have no real connection to him, so this one will probably go up in a claim sale. I did recently find one of these in a dollar bin a couple months ago, and now I got a second one. People that like the Max love the Max, I feel like, and are willing to pick up this book for, sells between $5 and $10. Then we got not the Max, but the Mask number 3. And for those of you who don't know, the Jim Carrey movie, The Mask, is based off of a comic book. Originally, this character appeared in, I believe it's Dark Horse Presents number 10, but again, that is more of a preview for the character. This is book 3 from a 4-issue miniseries that was the first Mask comic book series. I really consider book 1 of that to be the first appearance, but hey, a lot of people like those previews, as well as we've seen recently with the whole Spider-Man 2099 thing. I love Jim Carrey. Was my favorite actor growing up as a kid, and still such a classic movie. Would watch it anytime. This next one got me super stoked. Actually, definitely one of the top 3 books that I picked up in this haul. We got Usagi Yojimbo, number 21. This is from the original, Fantagraphics? I want to make sure I pronounce this right. Yeah, Fantagraphics is the company that originally printed the first run of Usagi. And, oh man, love this cover, love this Stan Sakai art. Great stuff. I actually have a bunch of books from this original run. This one I did not have. So this is certainly staying in the personal collection, and I'm making my way back. I think the earliest issue I have is issue 3. So 1 and 2 are, well, one is a pretty expensive book. 2 I just need to find, but 1 I'll eventually get. We'll see. This next one definitely has some potential here. We got Grendel, Volume 2, Number 1. This is the first appearance of, I believe her name is Catherine Spar. She is the second Grendel, the female version of Grendel. And we recently got some information that Grendel was optioned and picked up by, I forget who exactly, but looks like we're getting a series or a movie at some point. Maybe they, sorry, not Catherine. I just remembered. Her name is Christine Spar. Maybe we'll see this character show up. Probably not initially, or at least not as Grendel initially, but she might hop in there somewhere. You never know, but either way, just a great 80s indie book to have and hold on to. I have a couple copies of this already, so I might start putting some up in some claim sales just to keep the inventory moving. All right, now that we're done with the indie stuff, I just want to show you a couple more quick little runs that I got, and then we'll wrap things up and kind of talk about how much I paid, which you guys already know was $40 for the box, and kind of what I think things are worth. So give me a second here, and let's switch this over to some Conan books. We got Conan the Barbarian, bunch of Bronze Age books, not keys or anything like that, just filler issues, but for less than $1, these are great things to have. I'm not a super big Conan fan myself, but a lot of people are, so these are great to have at claim sales and just fill in the back issue bins for conventions and flea markets and stuff like that. Next, we got a group of books that I am very excited about because they are returning to the shelves in comic shops. We've got Saga, which went for 54 issues in the first, run. It stopped for a few years, I believe, and they just dropped issue 55 last week. So we've got a bunch of them here, just filler issues again. Nothing, nothing expensive or anything like that. That was issue 15. We got 41. I can't even read this cover. 44. And what was that, 47? Yeah, 47. So some great Saga stuff. I figure I'll probably want to collect the whole run eventually. A lot of people hail this as, the best modern indie book, the best indie book since TMNT. I definitely, from what I have read so far, it is fantastic. I could not recommend it more, and I want to finish reading the omnibus I have and start with the new run they're coming out with. So I'm stoked to have picked up these earlier issues because I'm probably going to eventually collect the run just because I definitely like it so far. Next, we got some Saga of Swamp Thing back from the 1980s. Now, this is not the part of the run that featured Alan Moore as a writer. He came in, I think, at issue like 20 or something like that. But this is a bunch of issues from issue 2 right here up to issue 15, just scattered issues. Again, no keys, but for such a low price, I love Bronze Age horror, and I have a bunch of the Alan Moore books already, so these will kind of go in to fill in the gaps in that run that I don't have yet. Then we got some X-Men stuff. I am trying to get all of the X-Men books up to the last issue of Volume 1, which is 544. So a lot of these issues I always try to pick up for $1 or less, just because they're pretty inexpensive books. Not a lot of keys in this range. These are all in the 400s. So just a bunch from that to go into my X-Men collection. And then the final group of books was a bunch of Milestone properties. Now, for those of you who don't know, Milestone was, I don't know if they were actually a separate company that teamed up with DC or if they were an imprint of DC. But you can see I got a bunch of Milestone books, again, for 33 cents a piece. This one's really the only one of real significance. It's hardware number 1. Unfortunately, there were no Static books in here. Static, obviously, is the character you want from Hardware. He had the show Static Shock when I was a kid, and there's been some speculation about the character coming to a movie or a live-action show or something like that at some point. But, yeah, these are great to have. They didn't necessarily start in low print runs, but the print run decreased significantly. If you can find later numbers of these books, some of them are worth big bucks because they were really, really low print runs. Not a lot of the rest have much value, but I figure I'm going to pick them up and hold on to them because you never know what's going to happen. And people do really like these characters, especially Static. But again, this is more Hardware, Icon, and Blood Syndicate stuff. So, as you guys saw, I picked up some really great stuff. Some stuff for my personal collection, some stuff for speculation, and some really cool things for claim sales. I think this is probably the most expensive book out of all the ones that I picked up. That being said, there certainly is quite a bit of value here. I paid $40, and I think if I keep a lot of it, like all my personal collection stuff, I still can sell the rest off for over $100. I think that is kind of even a more conservative number. let's say $100. I think that really if I really tried and moved everything, because this wasn't even all of it, this was about half the books. There's a bunch of number ones and filler issues from popular runs and stuff like that I didn't show in this, because they're just, they're books that I'm going to sell for between $1 and $3. But yeah, with that, this could end up being $250, kind of the, I don't want to say sky's the limit, because it's not like I'm going to get $1,000, but if I can end up moving a lot of the other stuff, it could end up being very profitable. I think it'll be very simple to get my $40 back and get to keep a lot of these books, and I'll probably be in profit on this stuff very quickly, because I do claim sales once or twice a week, and I don't know if I announced this yet, but I did apply for Whatnot. I haven't been accepted yet. Hopefully, I'll start on there pretty soon. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a lot of fun digging through dollar bins. It took me like about 2 hours to pull all of these books out of their dollar bins, as well as the other stuff. And, I think it's worth my time because I enjoy doing it. And it's fun, and I got to talk to the employees of the store and other people that were there at the time. And that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up for a like. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how you think I did, or tell me a story about what you found in a dollar bin recently. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.